Hey, welcome to the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
Where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. And in case you have forgotten, we're going to do this every single day that you see us. Mark wrote a book on it. You are absolutely fucking amazing exactly as you are.
And you are absolutely amazing exactly as you are.
Thanks, Mark. I needed to hear that this morning.
Well, Sherry, you are. We all are. We're absolutely amazing. We're just perfect exactly as we are. That is the truth of it. Now, sometimes we have a way of being that isn't exactly fun or enjoyable for people. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning.
But that's just a way of being. It's not who we really are, right? We take on ways of being based on our experiences and what we've been told and what we come up with as opinions and beliefs. And by the way, nothing's really true until you believe it is. So you can just change whatever you believe to be true and change your way of being. So here we are. We're absolutely amazing and perfect exactly as we are.
At our core. So we can't control people, places, things, thought forms, entities. We can't control that. But what we can do is go in, realize how awesome we are, and not let the outside circumstances of the world diminish the best version of ourselves. The best version of ourselves lives right inside.
Yes.
Ready to shine, ready to show the world. Right? Woohoo!
Yeah. So here we are, Tuesday, March 30th. Almost there, folks. 2021. Wow. Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Flying by, right? Oh totally. My gosh. The third month of 2021 is almost over. So here we are. Let's talk daily love. Good morning, Jack. So let's talk the daily love. So it's funny, we talk about, not having control over outside circumstances and things, because the daily love today talks about expectation.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so it starts off with expectation keeps me passionate about my life. Now it's talking about, you may not know what the future holds, but I dream big and maintain a bold vision for my life. And so as I claim peace, prosperity, and joy and prayer, I carry a confident expectation into my daily life. This last piece is the key for me, though. I do not fret over how or when my good will manifest. I make a joyful expectation that the life of my dreams is already mine.
There you go. That's it. Go inside. Be bold. Be brave. Right?
Yes. That's it. It's already here. Like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it isn't there.
Here it is. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right. So letting go of the how. Good morning, Denise. Letting go of the how things show up in your life really will increase your happiness. I'm telling you right now, it's the expectations, whether it's expectations for somebody to act a certain way, whether it's expectations for a job to go a certain way, it's always the expectations that cause you to have unhappiness.
There you go.
So if you let go of expectations about how things are supposed to be and roll out, and you just get to that firm place that the expectation is that what you want to have manifest is going to happen, but you don't have any control over the how
or what it's like. So here it is. So here, think about this. Us building the business of the Green Nurse. How has it morphed? If we weren't fluid with what we're doing, we would be creating stories in our head and saying, oh, this, that, the other thing. We just keep marching forward, knowing that we're helping people. Morphing. We don't know what it's going to look like in the end, but we know we're creating something absolutely fucking amazing because we love you all. This is why
every time we put expectations on it and we limit it, whatever it is, let's say we have a plan to build a business, right? If we stuck firmly to one plan and that was the plan that we said had to be the way it rolled out, we would be really, really upset at this point, wouldn't we?
We totally would.
And you are right. We have morphed and changed and been fluid. That's how life is.
We're like
we
weeds.
know what we
We
want at
do.
the end. The how it
How
happens
it happens.
is not really our we don't need to be focused on the how.
Right.
So
So
it's going
here's
to happen. We put our heads down and we do the things we need to do based on what presents itself during the day.
there you go. And here it is too. Think about it. It's about self.
Yeah.
So you think about when you're birthing something new, when you're
Mhm.
birthing a baby, you feed it, you take care of it, you nurture it, you love it, you take care of yourself.
Mhm.
Your mindset, a healthy mom is a healthy baby. Well, it's the same thing when you're manifesting a dream, right?
Yeah.
You can't, I don't know what this baby's going to look like inside of me, right?
Right.
But I do know
Right.
that if I take care of it, I'm going to love it. And that's what we're doing. We're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We are pushing forward with
Mhm.
education, information, because we love you all. And
Right.
whatever it looks like in the end, guess what? Doesn't really matter.
I'll give you a perfect example. So I created a vision, right? I worked with a coach 5 years ago, and I created a vision for my life. And I was very specific on what I would have, what my life would look like, what my what I would be doing in the world, and what my relationship would look like, right? With a significant other. And I went through some relationships, and I would think, oh my gosh, this is exactly the person that I have in my vision. And no, it didn't turn out that that was the case. But and on and on. And now I'm in this amazing relationship with exactly that person that was outlined in my vision. And so the how it happened was completely out of my control.
Well, can I
Right.
tell you, Mark,
I
people,
knew what I wanted. I
this is
knew
a
what I
really,
wanted to manifest. I didn't know how it was gonna happen.
and can I tell you, the story is
Mhm.
beautiful because I love your wife, and I was able to watch this whole beautiful relationship unfold.
I know.
So, and this is the part that I really love about it, is that
Mhm.
you guys went in. So here you are. I read something about it. You
Yep.
worked on yourself. She worked on herself, and you
Yep.
both became whole and complete in your sense of self and love for yourself. And so that time that you both spent alone before you got together is, you developed what you know you deserve in a relationship, and you were able to give it to
Absolutely.
yourself first.
Yeah.
And once you were able to give yourself that love
Yep.
first, you manifested that perfect love into your life. And I
Right.
love you both so
Oh
much.
my God. And we love you. So at the end of the day, what happened was, by doing all of that self-work and really loving me, she's loving herself, what that's able to present is no expectations for the other person to be anything other than themselves.
Well,
Right?
truly, Mark, what do we all want? We want to be loved and
Yes.
accepted for
Mhm.
who we are. But guess what?
Yeah.
That starts with ourselves. So once I'm able to love
Totally.
and accept who I am, all of the good, the bad, the juju, the
Yes.
dark side, all of the stuff,
Oh
then it's
my
easier
gosh.
for me to attract someone into
Mhm.
my life. So, I'm in that
Yeah.
manifestation phase of self-love. Here's the thing too. Here's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
This is what I told my girls too when we're talking about dating and relationships, is
Mhm.
it's okay to be alone for a little while, because when you're alone, what happens is you truly understand what you need to take care
Yeah.
of yourself. You're not looking
Yeah.
for someone else to provide you for that.
Completely. I
You're able,
dated myself for a year before I got into the relationship that I wanted my whole life.
yeah,
I dated myself. I figured out what I liked.
yeah, there you go. And then
No
you share it.
expectations for anybody else. Yeah, baby.
So
All right.
here's the thing too, before we get
Yeah.
started, is
What do you got?
I have a little reading for today.
Nice.
Hold on a second. Here it is. So the
Mhm.
reading for today,
Mhm.
March 30th, says, okay, you ready? And this has to do with our heart, everything that you talked
Yeah.
about. Becoming natural in your state of being is about you trusting and following the guidance of your heart. Right?
Mhm.
There you go. So becoming natural in your state of beingness means you trust and
Mhm.
follow the guidance of your heart.
Mhm.
The angels. There you go.
Trust.
Trust.
Yes.
All right. So we've been
Here
talking,
we are.
we got to bring it into weeds. So here we go.
Tuesday, hugging a nug.
Hug and a
Happy
nug. So
Tuesday.
how do we apply the daily love to weeds, right? Or to
Yeah.
cannabis? Well, it's another tool. It's about a mindset. You think about the
Mhm.
flower just grows into this beautiful medicine. Well, that's what we're doing when we use this plant, right? We're changing. We're working on our biopsychosocial spiritual selves. And so this leads into how we look at and use the plant. And so the plant has over 400 compounds 120 cannabinoids, over 200 terpenes, a lot of them they haven't even been able to name, essential fatty acids, bioflavonoids, and cannaflavins. This huge, rich, beautiful plant. So Tuesdays is a tidbit Tuesday, a hug and a nug, and we're going to talk about terpene. So Mark, what's terpene? What's today's terpene, and what is a terpene?
Oh, Sherry, we love this day because we get a little chemistry, don't we? We love it. So today we're going to discuss delta-3 Caren, C-A-R-E-N. Okay.
I've never heard of it, Mark. It's a new one for me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of new ones out there. There are a lot of new ones being discovered every day. Like you said, there's 400, even many, many more compounds within the cannabis plant that we haven't even identified. Don't even know what they do.
I know. Can you imagine looking at this plant saying, "Oh my God, there's so many more things in here that I don't even know about you."
Yes. Exciting. Yeah, it really is. So stepping back to, every Tuesday, we're going to tell you a terpene. It's an organic compound, and they produce specific smells and tastes. And they're found in cannabis and other plants, essential oils, trees. We use them in foods. And, the way that the cannabis plant uses them is to help ward off attacks from animals, insects, and fungus as it's growing.
Yeah.
So when it goes through the curation process, those terpenes become oxidized, resulting in what we now know are terpenoids.
Yes. And I love this part, Mark. Yeah. The whole thing about the entourage effect. I didn't understand that until I really studied it because, as traditional practitioners, we're used to single isolate molecules when we're working.
Well, that's what we do with pharmaceuticals. We're talking about a single molecule, a single drug, and then we study what that does in the human body.
Yeah. So terpenes contribute to the entourage effect, the whole plant working in synergy and harmony.
Right.
And terpenes have their own medicinal healing quality. So what I really love about the entourage effects is it looks at plant medicine a little bit differently. The entourage effect suggests that using all of the cannabinoids and terpenes together produces a more potent medicinal effect rather than using the isolated compounds alone. So one of my favorite things is the whole of the plant is greater than its individual parts.
And I don't think that we can talk about this enough. And, here's the real meat of the matter. We study these single molecules in pharmacology, and we look to see what it does in the human body. And frankly, most of the time, we really don't understand how it works. We just know that it does. And so we have enough evidence in clinical trials to say that it's not going to kill somebody, or it'll only kill a small percentage. Really seriously, they'll allow drugs that only kill a small percentage of people. But, if the overall good and benefit for people is high enough, the FDA says, okay, good to go. We know there's a small risk, but we're going to let it go because the majority of people will be helped. We still don't really know how it works. So when we talk about the entourage effect, we really don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Research scientists, we don't know how it works. We do know that it works. And so now there's this huge body of research that needs to be done to understand. And frankly, we may never understand exactly how all of these different chemicals react, but we know that it's not going to kill anybody, and it's going to provide a real benefit for almost all people who get the right, the right chemovar that works for them. So entourage effect, huge. That's why we talk about terpenes, because they're a huge component of the entourage effect.
And it makes sense too, Mark. You just think about all this, let's just say, throw an arbitrary number out there, 400. So you have all of these things that are interacting with one another, doing chemical reactions. Just think outside, and then you put it inside the body. Yeah. Every body's different. We talk about everything that we do or don't do in our lives affects how our endocannabinoid system works.
Right.
So that includes terpenes. So it's fascinating how this plant works in our body that's so different than anything else.
I know it.
So delta-3 Caren, which is a fun one. It's a bicyclic monoterpene.
Mm-hmm.
The part that I liked too, and I didn't even know this, is that
it put an E on the end. It's Caren.
Caren.
Well, we gotta make sure we put all the letters in it so I pronounce it right, Sherry.
Was I calling it Caren or Karen?
Karen. It's Caren, I think, because you added an E on the. Yeah, good. So.
Oh my God, my spelling was off.
That's okay. I'm very literal.
So it's CARENE.
Yes.
There we go. So
Mhm.
carine occurs naturally as a component that's found in turpentine. So I thought this was
Ooh.
cool. Delta 3 carine can have as much as 42% in
Yeah.
the component of turpentine, and it also depends upon the source of that.
Mhm.
Delta 3 carine is found in cannabis, essential oils,
Mhm.
and other plants, including rosemary,
Yeah.
basil, bell peppers, cedar, and pine.
Oh, I love cedar and pine. Those are two of my favorite smells. Oh, so good.
You know,
Yeah.
it's stimulating. It opens up the
Yeah.
airways and clears out the head.
Oh, yeah, and it's used as a flavoring agent in food, cosmetics, and perfumes. And so what's the aroma like, Sherry?
Oh, the aroma is sweet and it resembles the smell of cypress trees, an
Mm.
earthy cedar-like scent, and it also possesses a citrusy, lemon-esque flavor.
Ooh,
But about the
very
therapeutic
nice.
potential, this is a really good one too.
Mhm. Yep. So, we have therapeutic potential. Let's talk about this. Okay, here's a good one. And this is important because, Sherry, you talk about it all the time about how pharmaceuticals can have a negative nutritive effect on the body. They can pull things from the body, right? When you're using certain medications.
Or even foods.
Yeah,
You think
or even foods, things get leached from your body. So this is talking about osteoporosis.
right.
So bone density. So listen, delta 3 carine can boost bone health for those with osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, or other bone diseases.
Right. And
Yeah.
and here's the thing too that's interesting about how and why that
Mhm.
works. You just think about our bones need to be fed. So if we're doing things in our lives and our diet that's going to leach calcium out of our bones, and I'm going to tell you the number one thing that leaches calcium out of your bones is soda. Okay,
Yeah.
phosphoric acid. And the place
Yeah.
that it starts is in your mouth. It's the
Mhm.
non-weight bearing bone. So if you think about using delta 3 carine in conjunction with your cannabinoids, what it
Mhm.
does is it increases the incorporation of calcium right into the bones. It's called mineralization, right? So
Mhm.
the bone strengthening properties of delta 3 carine, is a
Yep.
huge potential treatment for osteoporosis. And as we get older, our bones, if we're not taking care of them, if we're not doing weight
Mhm.
bearing exercises, we're not eating the right foods, supplementing with calcium, magnesium, even vitamin D,
Right.
we need to think about these things to keep our bones
Yeah, we
strong.
do.
You
Yeah.
know,
And it
We've only
always
got,
go it always goes back to what we're doing today is gonna create the body that we have in the future. And it really is that. So today's a great day to start. It's the only March 30th, 2021 we have. It's a great day to start exercising, moving around, adding these different things to your life.
delta
Serious.
carine.
Today's a great one.
It's a good one. It's
It
a
can
good one.
also promote neurogenesis and neuroprotection. It can increase focus, so it results in an improved memory, including increased recall, better overall cognitive function, which, God, I could use a little bit of that. I mean, it makes this terpene potentially effective as part of the treatment regimen for diseases of dementia, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really like that it does, so it's,
Mhm.
you can see that we're affecting all of these different areas, so
Mhm.
we've already talked about bones, part of the endocannabinoid system. We're talking
Right.
about cognition, brain, central nervous system.
Mhm.
Then we're going to talk about the inflammatory or immune system. So
Mhm.
delta 3 carine, it acts as an anti-inflammatory and can relieve pain associated with arthritis and fibromyalgia.
Right.
Other thing that it does too, and it has to do with its anti-inflammatory effect, is that it can decrease swelling or edema. So
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, swelling, inflammation, all part of disease process, all part of the aging
yeah,
process. And we mentioned fibromyalgia, that's a tough one because there really isn't any testing that can be done to prove that anybody has fibromyalgia, right?
oh,
And many times people, who have this particular affliction will go to the doctors and the doctor pretty much dismisses them and says, you know what, it's all in your head, which to some extent is true. But your head, your brain is part of your body. So it's okay if it's part of your head, right? So these terpenes in this one can help with that, you
yes,
know? And
yes.
it's just
So
to be clear, the practice of medicine is just that. It's a practice. We really don't know that much about these amazing bodies that we live in. We do our best and we try our best. And, it goes back to, Sherry, what you always say, meet the patient where they are. Yes. Understand that their experience is their experience and don't dismiss it. So here we go.
So quick back, I want to talk about fibro really quickly.
Yeah.
So a lot of patients that come to us, and this is the part that's really interesting, is because we've also learned and studied that there's 3 conditions: fibromyalgia, irritable bowel, and migraine headaches.
Yeah.
They all have similar comorbidities. They've all been, by Dr. Ethan Russo, have been stated, Dr. Dustin Sulak, there's a bunch of doctors that have actually, Ethan Russo.
Yeah.
Which one? I forget, there's a ton of them that have pretty much said the same thing, is that these different conditions are an endocannabinoid deficiency.
Yeah, Ethan Russo, I think, came out with that first.
Yeah, and so basically, patients will come to us. My doctor can't figure out what's wrong with me. They thought I had MS. They thought I had fibromyalgia. They thought I had chronic fatigue. They thought I had this myofascial pain disorder. They thought I had lupus. And they can't figure me out. And so they're calling me fibro. Yeah. So here's the thing, is most of the patients that come to us with those types of things, I get excited. So I'm like, yes, there is something that could possibly work for you.
Right.
They've tried everything. They've done all the pharmaceuticals. They've done all the health and wellness activities. Fibro patients, once they start adding cannabis, I've seen it over and over and over again. The other health and wellness activities and everything that they're doing starts to work better.
And again, I'm going to defend the Western medical community. They're trained in a certain discipline and they do the best they can with the knowledge that they have. That's it. This is so complex. And we're trying to figure this out with the part that is part of this whole thing. So we do the best we can. But what we see in cannabis practicing is that cannabis, because of all of the ways that it works in the human body and the endocannabinoid system, wow, so many possibilities. Yeah.
And I will defend too. I'll defend the traditional medical system as well, because I was a part of it for so long and I never learned about cannabis as medicine. I never learned about the endocannabinoid system. So I have compassion for people that, haven't reached, that educational component. But that's why we're doing everything that we're doing every day, is because practitioners, nurses, healthcare workers need to know about this.
Yeah. And Melissa, you had a lot of questions. Let's connect. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I love everybody you posting up and you're part of this conversation. I mean, that's why we do this. Like, we're talking about conversation here. We need to talk about it. We need to continually talk about it. And hey, we're all in this together.
We're all in this.
Yeah.
Back to caring, because we got two things left to talk about.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
So there's Delta 3 carrying also has the ability, this is another cool one, to dry out excess bodily fluids, like tears, mucus, sweat, even menstrual blood. So the drying behavior, think about this is the other cool, decreasing bodily fluids. It can be useful as an antihistamine, right? And also for products that can curb mucus production. So patients that have ALS, they can decrease the amount.
Even if you're suffering from allergies. I mean, allergies are a big deal, right? I mean, every year is, these things bloom and it's in the air and you're breathing it in and your eyes are watering and weeping. And this is something that you could utilize.
Yes. The other thing too, so there's the other two, biphasic effect. So if you have a runny nose, it'd be great to decrease the antihistamine effect. But the other thing too, if it's drying, and just think about this, if you consume cannabis, it may make your throat dry, right? So especially if you're consuming it in inhalation, so basically things are going to dry up. So just if you're looking at a specific type of chemovar, cultivar, just to look at and see if those terpenes are in there.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about varieties. What do we got?
All right. So it's interesting that all of the ones that were highest in Delta 3 carrying came from the Hayes family. The Hayes family. And Hayes to me is a little bit stimulating. So we have Aerogen's Ultra Haze.
Super silver. Yeah, super silver haze.
My favorite actually is super lemon haze. I really like the lemon haze.
We got another lemon shining silver haze. That's kind of both together, right?
And then there's last one that the smell, it's so funny, but I know this is the cannabis smell. Skunk XL.
Oh, I love skunky weed. Something about it, just that smell is just like marigolds. Marigolds have a skunky smell, I just love those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are. We're talking about terpenes on Tuesday, a hug and a nug.
Yes, so much therapeutic potential, terpenoids and cannabinoids, and we have so much more to learn. So let's say hello.
Shelly posts up, she used to get an allergy shot every year and took meds daily, but using cannabis in every form, no longer deal with allergies at all.
I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of things that just kind of fell away, things that were troublesome to so many different patients, things that they weren't even expecting to start to feel better. You come in with, patients will come in looking for cannabis medically to focus on a specific symptom or a specific illness. And then over time, they're going to see, wow, this works on a lot of different things. And then they incorporate it as a wellness tool as they start to work through their symptoms.
Yeah. And so, it goes back to this, Sherry, in our practice, in our profession, we really hang our hats on evidence-based medicine, right? Research, clinical trials, focus. And I would argue that anecdotal evidence of things that work for people specifically is just as important as evidence as that firm, rigid, scientific clinical trials. Because how much anecdotal evidence do we hear on a daily basis of things how cannabis has changed people's lives? And for me this week, I'll give you a perfect example. So, herniated discs, have had it for 30 years, suffered. I found exercise really worked really well with me. Well, I poured concrete 2 weekends ago. And I heard, and so I knew that is what caused my back to flare up. And I've been suffering for a week. So what did I do? I increased my CBD intake, and I was able to get back to the gym within the week and move along through it because I was able to decrease. And this is my opinion of what happened. The CBD was able to decrease that inflammation and that neuropathic pain and those nerves that were irritated, because that's what it was. It's the nerve irritation. And it was able to decrease it enough that I get back to the gym and get that movement and get that body fluid flow. And I'm feeling good.
Motion is the lotion, right? So what you did, you took CBD to decrease the inflammation, and you started to exercise again, which is going to boost your endocannabinoid system, release that awesome bliss-like anandamide. You continued to take CBD, and what did it do? It prevented the breakdown of your own anandamide molecule. So here you are, charging yourself up with multiple different tools.
Right. Absolutely. So
what do we got going on? Hug and a nug, Terpene Tuesday.
So what do we got going on?
We got a lot going on.
Wednesday, tomorrow. Woohoo! That's a busy day for us.
Really busy.
Sherry, we have our 8 a.m. We'll be here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and we'll hope you do join us tomorrow. And what else? We have 420.
420 to 620. Really, really excited to be on In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio. And Nurse Mark and I have a Canna Talk segment. And we're going to talk about safety, health, wellness, safety when using cannabinoids. But the show is going to be awesome because Danielle Simone LeBrand is going to be on there. And she wrote a book called Weed Moms. And we're actually, a lot of the cannabis nurses in the cannabis space are quoted in that book. So it's going to be a really great interview, really about decreasing stigma around how to use this plant and even being a parent. And, coming out of the closet as a mom writing a book. So she's really brave. She's really bold. She's got a great message in her book. And so that's what's going to be on In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio.
Right.
Then Wednesday night, we have a big guest. Okay. Big. And Mark, remind me, I'm going to send you the PDF.
Love it.
We have Christopher Kilham coming on. He's known as the medicine hunter. He's written 15 books, and this is his most recent, and I think you're going to love it. It's The Lotus in the Bud, Cannabis Consciousness and Yoga Practice. So Yeah, really, really good. And we're just gonna talk about the book and what propelled him to write the book and his adventures traveling the world.
Oh, so much fun.
That
You
is
have to join us, folks. We hope you'll be there. And Sherry, today, come on. I'm going to
today.
say it every day because here it is. We only have this day, Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. The only one you're going to get. You can make a difference in your life today.
Be
Just
bold,
make a choice. Be bold.
be brave,
Yes.
be love. And
Yes.
we
Yes.
love you
Yes.
all.
So I'm having an AFA day already, and I hope you do too. And Sherry, what's it all about?
Every single day, we're going to tell you how absolutely fucking amazing you are. And it is
Yes.
about living your best life and helping others do the same.
That's right. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. We love you. We're glad you're here with us. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.